right, welcome back to another episode of Public Land Savages. Today we've got a special guest with us. This is our fly fishing extraordinaire who hails out of Missoula, Montana. He grew up with Justin and I in Sheffield, Pennsylvania, and he's went out to Idaho where he got his master's degree and fell in love with the West and never came back. He's out in Montana, like I said. We've got Scott Stanko out there guiding away, and then he goes down to Louisiana for the winter months, where he charters his own boat down there. Scott, welcome.
Hey,
welcome to the
thanks.
show.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, glad to be here with you.
First official guest. That's quite the honor for us. So
It is. Yeah, you're number one.
Yeah, like it.
So, Scott, how's it going out there? The season in yet?
Yeah. So we got going beginning of March, and it was a cold March and April. One of the coldest we've had. The fishing was good, but it was a grind. A lot of days spent in blizzards, snowstorms, 35, 40 degrees. Just it was a grind. But now we're coming around. We just started runoff here, so rivers are on the rise big time. So our rivers blow out for about 6-7 weeks. Once things start to melt, our night temperatures stay above 41 degrees, and everything starts to unlock above 5,000 feet, or snow. So we get a nice pulse of water every day. Usually like up until about second week of June, and then we're back fishing in Missoula here. So right now we just started moving operations over to the Missouri River, which is about 2 hours north of here, which is a tailwater fishery, which means it's a dam release. Great fishing. It's mostly nymph fishing, so under a strike indicator, but lots. Average size fish is 18 inches, and 6,000 fish a mile. So
Wow.
lot of fish. Very easy to make people happy there. It is probably one of the greatest trout fisheries in the lower 48.
Is it busy? Is it real busy, or?
It is. The traffic doesn't matter. Like I said, it's 6,000 fish a mile in the upper 7 miles. So,
Wow.
you're looking at 42,000 fish. And, say, you've got 50 boats up there, they all catch 30.
Wow.
And
You didn't even make a dent.
Nah, man, you catch 1,500 fish, then, there's 40,000 other fish that didn't eat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh shit, that's a lot. So that
is
must
crazy.
be a huge tourism thing up there. That's for sure. Wow.
Yeah, it is. I mean, tourism, for fly fishing in Montana is a massive thing. They started really introducing policy to manage our rivers a lot better in the last 6 years. And the one way they did it was they showed the revenue, and it is $980 million in revenue here comes into Montana due to fly fishing.
Holy shit.
That's
And you
awesome.
make 5% of that.
Yeah. Yeah. 0.005.
Oh yeah.
We'll be up there for the next 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and on the Missouri. So yeah, man, looking forward to it.
What kind of boat do you use up there?
The same fiberglass drift boat.
Okay.
16 foot. Little skiff. I fish out of a row tailwater, they're awesome, super stable.
Oh, nice.
They row like a dream. And I've also got a raft here, for Missoula when things get low or you need to get through some bigger water. You can't with a drift boat.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's the setup for you guys out there? So like, are you a guide? Are you part of a guide service? Kind of walk us through what that's like out there and what that looks like for you.
Yeah, so there's outfitters who can market their businesses. I work for an outfitter named Tony Reinhardt. He runs Montana Trout Outfitters. He has an outfitting license. I'm an independent contractor. I have a guide license. I work. He subcontracts me.
Nice.
And so, as a guide, to be an outfitter, I think you need to have done 100 days as a guide and or been a guide for 3 seasons. And then you can apply for your outfitting license, take a test. and then, market your own stuff. For me, it's pretty easy to be a guide and stay a guide, and I don't have to do any marketing. I use part of my clientele from Montana and market to Louisiana from Montana, which is great. So,
Wow.
So you get all the fishing and none of the work.
Yeah.
right.
Oh, you don't have to have employees. You don't have to do those headaches. You don't have to worry about other people. You just worry about your performance.
Yeah. I outfit for Tony every year.
That's awesome.
For a couple of weeks when he goes to Bolivia or Brazil or wherever the hell he goes on his vacations, and I have to outfit, and it can get tricky at times. If you have to coordinate 6-7 boat group trips and people show up late, and
it's a mess. Yeah, logistics is always a pain in the ass.
Oh, we can't have 4 people in a boat today. Well, we can only have 2. Things, just you
always
can
something. Yeah. People.
Yeah.
Anytime you have people, there's always a problem of some sort.
That's the whole job, man.
That's why you're out there fishing, though, man. It makes it better to deal with people. At least you're on the water.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. I would say 98% of the people you fish with are great. They're on vacation. They're easy to have fun with and hang out with, and it's easy. The other 2% can be tricky at times.
Yeah.
So what's the clientele like? Is it mostly beginners, or you got some experienced guys coming in, or what do you mostly deal with on a day-to-day?
Yeah, sure. So a wide variety. Definitely guide people who have never touched a fishing pole in their life. They've never casted. I would say 25% of people that I guide are very, very beginner. The other 75% are somewhere in the neighborhood of intermediate to advanced.
Gotcha.
I think as you do it long enough, you get more and more return clientele who can fish really well, and want to get after it.
Well,
that's got to make your day easier.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's got to make your day easier once you got someone experienced and you're not spending all day trying to teach them the fundamentals. I got to imagine.
It is to an extent. However, I've definitely had streaks before of 14, 15 days in a row of highly advanced anglers, which puts a lot of pressure on you as a guide, because now you need to deliver.
Sure.
It's nice to guide 4 or 5 days in a row, people who can really fish, and then, have a few days where, hey, we're going back to basics, and, catch 8 to 12 fish and it blows people's minds.
Yeah, they're happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It changes up your day too. So
100%, you can relax and not feel the pressure as much.
Yeah, I didn't think of it in that aspect, as like they would be more challenged. Just because they have an expectation, they know what they can do. So novices are like, yeah, just catch me a few fish and I'm enjoying the views.
Yeah, totally.
Scenery out there.
Even if they can fish really well, if they have a great attitude about what the day is about and what we're really doing, chances are they're still going to have a great time.
Yeah.
We're going to catch fish one way or the other. There's usually a slow period in the day. And then once the fish start to eat, I tell people it's going to happen. You just need to be ready. And there's going to be 3 hours where it's going to be good. You just got to hang with me. Very rarely do we really lay an egg. If we, some other variable that we couldn't really control, like water clarity or whatever,
Yeah. How long are your trips typically?
Anywhere from 6.5 to 8 hours on the water.
Oh, nice. At least that's a full day. Shit, what do we do on Lake Ontario, Doug? 2-3 hours?
I think it was 4.
Oh, it was 4.
That was a 4-hour trip.
Oh, yeah, you could do a full day. But you still, you're out there in Montana. You're going to want to dedicate a full day. Even if I was a good fly fisherman, which I'm not, from Pennsylvania, if I'm going out to Montana, I've never been out there, you got to hire somebody. You just can't stumble on the best spots or even a good spot. There's just so much terrain. It's not like PA where you can just Google a good stream and kind of walk around and find,
100%. And you got to learn how to fish from a boat. You got to take 45 minutes and get people through the day. The day goes a lot it goes by really quickly.
I'm sure it does. Well, it's new. Yeah, it's a new experience, and
if they're very new to it, 6 hours is very intense on people. It's a lot of instruction. You got to kind of pick your places where you can push. Like if I come to a bank or a shoreline that's like A+ water, and I know that I need to push hard here. I need to push for your flies to be in the zone. Get them. And then there's going to be banks where it's not very good, and I don't want to push. Like I'm just going to let you be. You can
trial and error. Yeah, do whatever you want. Yeah.
There, when you're a new guide, you want to get them. You want to catch fish, and you want to push hard, and you make the mistake of pushing all day long, and people can't handle it. Man.
Yeah. Too much pressure. They can't do it.
So now you got to kind of know. I know now, like, I'm just going to back off here a little bit.
Yeah, it's like PA rifle hunting when you're like 10 years old and you're sitting on a rock next to you. I used to sit next to the neighbor. He's like, it's right there in front of you. Shoot it. I'm like, I don't see it. Like, like crumbling under pressure. I still remember moments like that. Like, it's right over there. You'd see 7 deer and you couldn't find the one buck, and like just breathing down your neck all day does nothing for you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Nah. And the whole idea is to get people to come back, and a lot of times if you catch less fish and they have a great time, they're going to come back, rather than if you push them hard and they catch more.
They don't want to be exhausted. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Scott, you started fly fishing when we were young. How long have you been fly fishing for?
I think it's 30 years now. Yeah. I think that's about right. 30. Yeah. Somewhere in there, I think I started when I was 9, in there. But that helped, having a trout stream in my backyard to be able to walk down and fish constantly. And, it's hard to, like, here it's easy, it's wide open. There's nothing to get snagged on. You grow up fishing 2 Mile Run where it's brush choked, it hones you.
You can miss the stream. It's so encased in brush. You don't even know it's there. You just walk like, oh, there's water.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So, yeah, I think, eventually it was going to happen, guiding, it was just one of those things. Once I was introduced to, you can make money doing this. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's always been your passion, even since we were kids, and then all through college. I mean, you had all your Orvis bags and all your luggage and shit like that. It was, it was funny shit, but you had a passion and you really stuck with it. Yeah.
And it's different now, it's not a job, but it is. I don't fish for trout on my own really as much anymore. Like, I take my wife out 4 or 5 days a year, and, we'll just kind of hang out with the dogs, have a couple beers, and, just fish.
Relax. Yeah.
Relax. Totally. But it's changed, for me. Now,
oh, I'm sure.
When you take her out, is that when you're fishing for chubs?
Yeah, yeah, totally.
It was Montana miniature chubs. I heard about that.
You got away with that little worm just right.
Doug knows no dick in history has ever resembled a worm so much. It's even got the curve.
Yeah, that's right. Oh shit!
Yeah, you didn't forget. Oh yeah, Happy Hooker. I forgot. That's you, Captain Hook.
Captain Hook, dude.
Some things you never forget, huh, Stanko? You just
never.
Oh man, I know that's cool. Do you not to jump off topic too quick, but do you hunt much out there?
Yeah. I used to, and that's the thing, guiding, it just changed my time frame of what I can do.
Sure.
When I decided I want to be a full-time guide, I had to kind of give up September.
That sucks.
And I bow hunted a lot in September. My in-laws take care of a 250-acre ranch that has 40 head of elk that run around on it. So I hunted that hard. It was easy. There's a cabin on it.
It's
ridiculous. I mean, it's iconic Montana.
Yeah.
And so, I met Molly, and, she killed a 6x6 the first year we hunted up there.
Nice.
the next year I killed it 5x5, and I went after it hard. I think I hunted 40 days straight, killed that bull.
No kidding.
You're right after it.
I did. I was in the oil field at the time. It was before I was a guide. I had all the time, and I was like, I want to kill a bull. I'm going to get after it. I hunted like 20 days straight in archery. I called in 2 or 3 bulls, didn't seal the deal. And then I went up to the property and I hunted every single day for 3 weeks, man.
Jeez.
I had that bull three separate occasions. I finally killed him on the third one, so yeah, crazy, man. But the hunting's great,
Yeah.
And now I've just kind of gotten out of it, because of Louisiana, I shifted over to that, and my hunting's just, I hunt for fish. That's what I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
what are you primarily fishing for out there in Montana, Scott?
What's that?
What are you primarily fishing for in Montana?
So rainbow, cutthroat, and brown trout. We do have bull trout, too, which is a native fish here, and some pike. There are smallmouth in areas, but mainly trout for clients on the fly. So yeah, bull trout are cool. Bull trout are cool. They're a totally different fish than anything you've experienced in Pennsylvania. If you can imagine a 40 or 50 foot wide, 100 foot wide river, and you're hooking 12-inch fish, 14-inch fish. Bullies are somewhere between 20 and 40 inches long, and they live in the river. So these a client will hook a 12-inch fish, and the big bully will come out of nowhere and eat the 12-inch fish. Like, oh my God, man, what is it?
That's awesome.
Then you end up playing it around the river, for 20 minutes. I mean, it's crazy, man. Yeah, they're crazy big fish, man. It's so weird.
That's awesome.
Wow.
You talked about the Louisiana fishing. So are you fishing freshwater, saltwater down there? Are you getting into golf? What exactly are you doing down there?
Yeah, so it's saltwater. It's saltwater fly fishing, totally different ball game. Similar. So, if you know what a poling skiff is, you've got a poling platform that's up over the motor. So it's a tower. You climb up there. You've got a 24-foot push pole. It's made of carbon fiber, and then it's smooth, super, like, I don't know, it's got to be 2 inches of diameter, and then you're poling that. You're using that to propel the boat forward, and it's designed to be in 1 foot to 2 feet of water, and then you're just stalking fish. So there's somebody on the front of the bow on a casting platform, and they're up there with all their fly lines stripped out, ready to make a cast. And you're just looking, it's all sight fishing. So you're poling, you're not casting, you're not blind casting, you're just looking, you're hunting, basically. You see the fish.
What species? Snapper?
Redfish.
Redfish? Nice.
Red drum, yeah. There's sheep's head, black drum, and alligator gar in there too, but primarily redfish is the target species. So yeah, pretty cool.
Sounds fun.
It's great, man. It's a blast. I do light tackle as well, with the spin, and fly. So either or, weather permitting. The fly is tricky. You can still get them in the clouds, but bright sunshine is the best, so you can see the fish into the water. Lot trickier game, with people here. If they ask about it, you got to really be upfront. It's more of an advanced game with the fly.
You got to be ready to go as soon as you see them, and
you got to throw 60 feet on a dime within like 3 or 4 seconds.
No kidding. It's that precise.
Tricky. Yeah. I mean, if you get it in the zone, which is 2 feet by 2 feet, they like to see it, in front of their face and just past them, so you can pull the fly across their face. If you can do that, 99% of the time, they're going to absolutely destroy it. And they're awesome fish.
So they're real aggressive coming after.
I've seen fish that puke up crabs and whatever they've been eating to make room for what they're about to eat. Yeah, they're my favorite fish to catch by far. Definitely.
That reminds me of some of the girls Doug dated in college.
Picking up crabs.
They needed to make room for more.
They gotta clear the mouth out.
Totally.
Feed me again. He's not even
you sent
denying
me
it.
pictures of those redfish too. They're quite sizable.
Huge. Yep. Big fish. You know, they're in that 30-pound range, 25. Most of the big ones are in that like 23 to 35-pound range, somewhere in there. I did have a buddy this year that I was guiding and caught one that was 42 pounds. It was 48.5 inches long. That was the biggest that I've come across. That was a beast.
Any fight to them?
Oh yeah, they rip, man.
Do they?
They tear line off your reel. Yeah, they're awesome for sure. You got to get your hand away from the handle, because if you don't, you're gonna smash your knuckles. Yeah, I love it.
No kidding.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah,
Sounds fun.
yeah, yeah. They school up. You can get them on top. You can pop, poppers through them on schools, and come up and chase it. Tease them. It's pretty awesome.
So when you're doing the saltwater fishing, do you wear the little skimpy bikinis like all the girls on Instagram do to try and draw attention in, or you just wear your normal outfit?
Yeah. Man,
Scott, be careful how you answer this, because Andrew might be booking a trip.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm looking for you some vacation.
Andrew's booking a trip, depending on how you answer it.
Yeah, totally. Man, I don't look as good in a bikini as I did like 50 years ago, man. It is what it is, But yeah.
I don't know if you want Andrew's clientele now. They might be expecting push off with a different pole there.
Man, he's right though, man. I'll tell you what, if you're a chick in the fly fishing world and you want to post some photos of yourself holding fish, dude, you're gonna have 8,000 followers before you.
Yeah. Instantly, yes.
Fly fishing has changed so much in that regard. It's just crazy, man. To think that that's what it would have become when I started in it is just nuts to me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's nuts to me. It's totally nuts to me.
But it always just seemed like a hobby, back in our day. Like, you didn't think there was so much industry surrounded. We know like Lake Erie did some guiding or whatever, but it just seemed like it was a big water thing, like a big ship. Or when you went on vacation, you'd see it. But I didn't realize it was such an industry like that it is.
Oh, it's crazy. It's become it's a fad now, and
yeah,
it's interesting because when you really stop and look at it, there's some people out there with some serious skill, but there's a lot of posers out there,
yeah,
and it as soon as you see it, you just know you can either do it or you can't.
Yeah, that's one of those things. It's just some people just have a knack,
Yeah, totally.
It's not always trainable either. Like, some people just can't grasp that. I could be better than I am, but I just don't know if I could grasp the full concept. Like you said, you got to have that passion in it.
Yeah, definitely. And social media has changed the fishing industry in terms of popularity and where guys go, what they do. It's a game here for sure. I love it. I'm a ghost on there. I post stuff for my Louisiana stuff because it's a business and it keeps my current clientele interested. But for here, I'm a ghost. You never see me in my just like,
that's that extra hassle you got to deal with, because there's always like trolling and people always got to say talk shit. It ain't no different.
Yeah. I don't like anyone in Montana seeing what I'm doing, where I'm going, what I'm about.
Yeah.
And, I'm a ghost. Just, that's it. That's the beauty of not having to market.
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. You just get to fish, and as long as you produce and, what you do well, that's your passion as well as your job. So,
So, Scott, I got to ask, this is probably the most important question of it all. So, what is the views like going down the rivers in Montana? I did some whitewater rafting in Colorado, and it was some of the most breathtaking countryside I've ever seen, with animals, bears, elk, moose, bald eagles flying overhead, huge mountains. Same thing. Do clients comment about that?
Yeah.
The most favorite part about the whole thing, or?
Yeah. So, to the south of us, we have the Bitterroot River, which is along the Bitterroot-Selway Wilderness, which is a lot of big mountains. Sorry, just got really windy here. Can you guys hear that? Is that too much for you?
No, you're okay now.
Okay, good. So we've got the Bitterroot-Selway Wilderness, which the river goes, through a valley, massive mountains in the background. It's awesome. And then we've got the Blackfoot River, which is totally different. It's like tight canyon woods kind of stuff, you know, where you see, you know, big, you know, tree covered hillsides. You know, it's gorgeous. You know, a lot of wildlife, a lot of eagles. You know, clients love that. I personally think the Bitterroot is prettier because of the mountains, but you know, people just love the Blackfoot, man. I mean, it takes someone on the Blackfoot, they got to have more of it.
Yeah,
you know?
No kidding. That's awesome.
that's cool.
They love it. The Clark Fork's pretty, but it's, you know, it's got a lot more road along it, you know, so it's not as scenic per se. But anyway, yeah, you know, there's some cool canyon stretches. We do have some whitewater, some rapid kind of stuff, but mainly pretty mellow stuff.
Well, it makes it nice for clients and fishing. You know, you don't have to worry about rough, choppy water. You know, it's kind of like a rough day on the lake, you know, out here on Lake Ontario is really, I mean, that boat was just whipping, you know, and that was a mild day.
Yeah.
It makes it tough. It really does.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And in Louisiana, I've got to account for that. You know, there's days where, you know, you've got to know where you're going to run and how you're going to get there so you don't get beat up.
Yeah, that's a different ball game down there.
Yeah.
Coastal waters. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of shoreline. So no matter what, I can usually stay protected. And then, you know, but I do know there's certain winds where if I come around the corner here, I'm going to take a beating for a couple miles to get to where I want. And people got to know that ahead of time, you know, and they're usually cool with it. But, you know, you get some older guys in there, they're like, yeah, man, I don't know about that.
You run into grizzlies very often out there.
Yeah. You know, not a lot on the Blackfoot. They're around, you know, I haven't had any issues with them, but I've had some buddies with some super close encounters floating right next to big sows, you know, like just
makes you nervous.
I haven't had to deal with that, but I do carry bear spray and, you know,
are they as aggressive as people say they are?
No, I mean, I don't think they care about you at all, as long as you don't run into them with cubs, right. You know. Then if you run into them with cubs, then you're going to be in trouble, you know. But honestly, I think there's more black bear aggressive encounters than there are grizzlies, you know. But for the most part, they just leave you alone, you know. We had a bad attack up in Ovando a couple years ago with a mountain biker that was a bad deal right in town. So, you know, they're encroaching on, you know, farmland, and I mean, they're around and way more prevalent than they used to be.
I was going to say, I heard the population's growing for them actually up there in Montana.
It is. Yeah. They're moving down, you know, and they're in farmlands when you're pheasant hunting or upland bird hunting. I mean, you know, you could run into a bear a lot easier there than you will in the mountains for sure. It's definitely sketchy.
They're going where the food is.
Yeah, totally.
Scott, wasn't it you years ago that went camping and there was that grizzly bear with squash blue tents?
That's right.
Squash a certain content.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, in Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tracked that bear for a while, and he was known to do that, I think. But yeah, I don't know what that situation's like now in Yellowstone, but
yeah, I know that was just a funny story, man. It was like a certain colored tent. It knew it was a tent, so it was just jumping on it to see the air come out or something.
Yeah, looking back at that now, I'm like, you know, I was a lot younger when I did that. I don't really have a lot of interest in being in heavy bear country. It's just
like Yellowstone. Wasn't there wolves out there too when you were camping?
Oh yeah. I mean, we got wolves up at the property that, you know, I hunt on, and they're not. I don't have any fear of them at all. They do their own thing. They are huge, pretty intimidating, but they don't really bother you.
That's nice to hear, because it's always seemed intimidating to me because they communicate, they hunt in a pack, and they're quiet, a lot quieter than bears are per se. So
yeah,
but they kind of leave you alone. That's a nice.
It's a big thing here with wolves, and you know, like major deal here with wolves and people. And what should we do? You know, and they got wolf tags out there now, so you can kill them if you want. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. You know, they push elk around, and they've definitely done a dent in the elk population.
Oh yeah, I know the elk guys hate them. I know they hate them. Well, they were talking about reintroducing them in Colorado there. People were all up in arms about.
Yeah, It's an interesting thing too, because I think back in the day there was more snow, and so I, I I think elk stay higher now than they used to, and I don't think they need to come down per se as early in the season. And I think that's also why a lot of
Factor.
may be frustrated in that their hunting spots changed. Not necessarily wolf wiping them out, but
Yeah, you just it changes over years. It's not just one root cause, but anytime you try to reintroduce something, there's always going to be a yay and nay to it. But
yeah, now they're here forever, bro.
I know. Yeah, I'm sure they'd migrate down, to Colorado eventually. It's like brown bears used to be. At least that's what they claim. So it's just, you're right. Hunting and predation probably moved them up. Just like the wolverine, used to be Michigan and down our way used to be trapped, and then they were essentially trapped up into Canada. So
Yeah,
and I know, like I think it's Alaska. Wolf tags are pretty cheap. When you do other hunts, a lot of guys throw a wolf tag
Yep.
on, just $100 or something, pop a wolf. But I'm sure they got a lot more than the lower 48 here. But
yeah. Yeah. I don't know what the wolf population is here. I've asked a fishing game. They have no idea. They need somewhere north of 500 plus packs, but they don't know.
oh, it's like out here in Pennsylvania, where they count piles of shit to estimate deer population in like an area. Like is a terrible metric.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hard to kill wolves as well. They're just not easy.
Oh, I'm sure they're smart. I mean, they gotta smell you. Even coyotes will go downwind from you most of the time when they come in. Like, they're not dumb.
Oh yeah.
They want to smell what it is before they come running. I mean, sometimes if they're overly hungry or horny, whatever it is, they'll come rushing in. But
Yeah.
other than everybody's guilty. Imagine if we had a call for Doug, a horny big girl call, a BBW call.
That's how Justin shot that coyote a couple years ago. I think it was horny and smelled it.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's quite a living. That's quite a story. I think we'll definitely have to touch base some more about, get more specific on, your Montana fishing versus your Louisiana fishing, because at least I'd be interested in the technical aspect of it. It fascinates me. Not that I would ever be good at it or desire it, but it's fascinating how much knowledge you put in. Like, what'd you say? How many flies you carry?
Oh God, yeah. It's anywhere from 50 to 100,000. They're just bins and bins and bins of them. I think I have 15 boxes in my guide bag that rotate in and out depending on what's going on, and each one of them is just stacked.
And do you organize them like in your head? You just kind of know what type of flies are where, or you have to label?
Yeah, it's weird, man. I just
That's
remember.
wild.
Yeah, it's weird. I remember what I caught, when I caught them, when it's going to work, what I need, like so many variables, way more variables than I ever thought it would be coming from Pennsylvania. This is on another level for sure.
That's what I think my biggest surprise is, just hearing you say that is how much you have to change the game
For sure.
and even on the fly. I didn't realize, and most people don't, that, fly fishing is that technical. It's not, everybody thinks it's just learning to do the cast, they don't realize how much goes into hatches and the time of year and the colors with the sun versus shade. It's just what their preference is. You have to constantly be changing your approach.
Yeah, we have, our dry fly fishing here, which is when fish eat on top, is best with clouds. And we have insects that emerge in the clouds as well. Betas, blueing olive, mahoganies, any of our squala stoneflies. They love the clouds, and fish like to eat the clouds. So anytime you get clouds, you're probably going to have a good day. But it's weird, if you get 3 cloudy days in a row, that first high pressure day in the sun is always really terrible. They just don't like it. But you get like 6 or 7 sunny days in a row, those fish get used to that sun, and they'll eat in it, no problem.
Okay.
So it's kind of, you just got to kind of know where you can go, and how you're going to get around that, like fish love fast water in the sun. You can still catch fish in fast water. You get into slower stuff, it's going to be a problem.
See, that's just stuff you pick up along. You got to be boots on to pick up that stuff.
It's a chess match, and there's other boats on the water, and who's in front of you, and who's behind you. This guy likes to fish this way, and this other guy likes to do this. So you got to kind of figure how your game plan is going to work with all that.
Yeah.
Really fast on the water. So I'm patient, but I'm impatient with the fishing. I like to figure it out quick and then move quick.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy who likes to sit in the back behind 8 boats and guide. That's just not my style. I like to move. So knowing, I pick my stretches based on that. Now, it just takes time.
Oh yeah. Once you get in the game for so long, it kind of just envelops into this.
Totally.
Stuff. But yeah, that's it's just wild stuff. Even we fish for, how many years did you fish before you went out west? And it's like you didn't think it was going to be factors like this in fishing. Like that.
No, not at all. It's guiding is different than fishing. It's just I don't fish hard, but I guide hard. It's totally different world. If I take a buddy out fun fishing, it's a totally different experience than if I get into work mode. Then it's
efficiency. You're trying to produce, be efficient at the same time. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, for sure. I like it. Yeah, it's a great way to make it. Awesome.
Yeah.
So Scott, I know we gotta get you out of here soon, but one last really important question, in my opinion. So if the 4 of us want to come out and spend some time out there, and we want to do 2-3 days fishing, and then 5, 6, 7 days in the woods chasing some elk, is September a good time to do that, or what are we looking at here?
Yeah, absolutely. September is a great month. September is something fishing wise, you got to book it like a year in advance. My September is already full for this season.
No kidding.
People rebook. Like my June for this year was gone in July of last year.
Wow.
That's awesome though.
Same.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally. 2 boats, 4 anglers get you on the water, and then you can hunt on your own, or get a guide or whatever you want. We'll make it happen for you.
I like it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No,
sounds like a trip right there.
Yeah, I like it.
So
I'm thinking in the winter.
I'm thinking 2027, instead of going to Colorado, we bank our preference points and go hit Montana.
Yeah.
Then when winter flies around, we head to Louisiana.
Doug wants to go to Louisiana.
Doug wants to catch some big fish, man.
Yeah, he does. Big heavy chested
those redfish.
fish.
Like, oh no, that's what I want right there, dude. I want something that's hard to hold.
Not that he's used to that either.
Yeah, totally.
You'd be looking behind the boat. Doug's dick would be dipped in peanut butter, dragging off the back.
Well, they got suckers down there.
Yeah, see how far these redfish get.
Let's see what they want to spit up to get a hold of this one.
Love it.
Oh gosh. All right, hey, who's taking us into next week? Andrew.
Yeah, appreciate you joining us, Sky. It was the first guest. You definitely set the bar high for anyone that's got to follow that performance, I think. So
yeah, thanks, man. Seriously, thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it, Scott.
Sometime, let me know. Yeah, it was great talking with you guys.
Yeah, we'll definitely bring you back, get some future information out of you. And episode 4 comes out May 22nd. So we'll see you guys then.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Thanks.